Heating up behind the scenes with the Buffalo Bills. The locker room buzz, the intense training sessions, and front office moves all point to one thing: something big is coming. But before we dive into this explosive update, if you truly believe the Bills have what it takes to make it to the next Super Bowl, go ahead and smash that like button right now. It really helps the channel grow and keeps the content flowing for fans like you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. We bring you football news with the intensity of a playoff game. Honestly, I believe in them 100%. And if you do too, drop it in the comments. Go Bills, I believe. Now let's get into the story that's got everyone talking. What if I told you that the Buffalo Bills might have just tipped their hand, revealed the blueprint, the roadmap, for what could be one of the most pivotal drafts of the McDermott Bean era? What if I said that by analyzing the pre-draft visits, the who and the why behind them, we can start to see the front office's deepest priorities, and maybe even predict the next face of the franchise? Because that's exactly what's happening. The deadline for NFL teams to host pre-draft visitors has come and gone, and the Bills used their 30 visits strategically, or at least 23 of them. We only have confirmed info on those. And when you see the type of players brought in, and especially those who were not, it becomes crystal clear. Something big is brewing in Buffalo. Let's start with the local kid, Sean Dolak. His name probably rang out across Buffalo bars and high school gyms years before he ever earned national accolades. Grew up in West Seneca, played football and lacrosse at West Seneca East, a walk-on at UB in 2020, no scholarships, no hype, just grit, and 4 years later, MAC Defensive Player of the Year, consensus All-American, led the nation in tackles, led his conference in interceptions as a linebacker. That doesn't happen, but he made it happen. That's Buffalo DNA. Dolak is built almost identically to current Bills starter Terrell Bernard. Height, weight, arm length, it's like they were cut from the same mold. And he plays with that same motor. He's a see-ball, get-ball linebacker with high-end coverage instincts and an engine that doesn't quit. His read and react processing is sharp, and when you blitz him, he brings the heat with solid timing and closing speed. Add in his underdog story, walk on to All-American, and it's easy to imagine Sean McDermott falling for this kid. But there are legitimate concerns. He's small, and that's a word Bills fans are tired of hearing. Small linebackers, small D linemen. Can he hold up physically in the NFL trenches after dominating the MAC? That's a huge jump. Plus, the fact that he didn't even get a Combine or Senior Bowl invite despite his accolades? That's suspicious. Still, as a late day 3 pick with special teams upside and developmental depth, Dolak could absolutely find a role in Buffalo. Now let's swing to the opposite end of the emotional spectrum. Deion Walker, defensive tackle from Kentucky. The Bills hosted him, yes, but based on the film and scouting report, it's almost baffling. This guy is massive, 6 feet 7 inches, 328 pounds, with 34-inch arms and big hands. But the athletic profile? A relative athleticism score of 3.74. That's bottom tier. And on tape, you can see why. Walker is top-heavy, huge up-top, skinny legs. He's got almost no anchor against the run. He's regularly pushed around, lacks lower body strength, and struggles to hold his ground. His motor? Cold. He doesn't play with urgency, he doesn't pursue with aggression, and there's very little violence to his game. Even when he flashes, it's inconsistent, and he's not a high-effort player. If Buffalo is serious about toughness in the trenches, Walker feels like the antithesis. Yes, he dealt with a back injury in 2024, but these problems were visible in 2023 too. A late-day 3 flyer? Maybe. But fans should hope this was just due diligence, not genuine interest. On to the wideouts. 2 names Bills Mafia should get familiar with: Torrey Horton and Jordan Watkins. Both bring something Brandon Beane clearly values: speed. Horton is a 6'2" vertical threat from Colorado State who ran a 4.41 40 and posted 2 straight 1,100-plus yard seasons before a knee injury cut 2024 short. His ball tracking is elite, and he adds punt return value, 16 yards per return, 3 career touchdowns. His route tree is diverse, his hips and feet are smooth, and he can stretch the field in ways that Josh Allen can definitely utilize. Concerns? Horton has a lean build and struggles with physicality, press coverage, contact through the route, contested catches. He also needs to improve route tempo and eliminate the occasional drop. But overall, he's a day 3 receiver who brings legit vertical juice and special teams value. Then there's Jordan Watkins out of Ole Miss. 5'11", 196, 4.37 speed, and one of the most productive vertical threats in the SEC. His 2024 season, over 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, led the entire SEC in TD catches. Watkins has plucky hands, great body control, and real toughness over the middle. He plays through contact, competes hard, and can also return punts, but his development curve might be steeper. That Ole Miss offense under Lane Kiffin is flashy, but not translatable to the pros. Simplistic route concepts, funky spacing. It doesn't prep receivers well for NFL systems. Plus, his lack of length, third percentile arm length, caps his outside upside. Still, for a vertical slot receiver, Watkins is intriguing. And here's where it all gets really fascinating. When you zoom out and examine the full list of pre-draft visitors, a clear pattern emerges. The Bills brought in 7 cornerbacks. 7. That's a third of the reported visits. It's an admission. The CB2 spot opposite Christian Benford is wide open. Prospects like Jacob Parrish, Kansas State, Benjamin Morrison, Notre Dame, and Dorian Strong, Virginia Tech, represent a wide spectrum of athleticism, physicality, and polish. Parrish in particular screams McDermott guy, corner with a wrestling background, aggressive play style, and explosive traits. They also brought in 4 defensive ends, 5 defensive tackles, and a whole group of receivers with one thing in common: speed. These aren't contested catch guys. They're burners. Arian Smith, Isaiah Bond, Keandre Lambert-Smith. These are take the top off the defense weapons. That tells us something huge. The Bills are laser-focused on explosiveness and big play potential in the draft. And perhaps most telling, not a single safety, not a single offensive lineman, no tight ends, no quarterbacks. That's bold. It suggests the front office feels good about depth in those rooms, or they're planning to address them in other ways. But in terms of draft capital, it's edge rush, corner, D-tackle, and wide receiver all the way. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. What kind of team are the Buffalo Bills trying to become? From this list of visits, it's clear they want to be faster, more aggressive, and more dangerous downfield. They want defensive playmakers with motors that run hot and receivers who force secondaries to respect the deep ball. They're looking to reshape the identity, especially on defense and in the vertical passing game. So, Bills Mafia, what do you think? Which of these prospects gets you excited? Who do you hope ends up in red, white, and blue? And just how much does this list of visitors tell us about the future of the franchise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you see in this pre-draft puzzle. And here's where things get even more layered, because while the Bills have clearly shown us what positions they're targeting, there's also a timeline dynamic unfolding. Think about the windows we're in. Josh Allen is 28. Von Miller's contract is winding down. Stefon Diggs is gone. Gabe Davis is a Jaguar. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, gone or fading. And when you match that reality with the list of visitors, it becomes obvious. Brandon Beane is building not just for 2025, but for 2026 and beyond. He's not just filling holes.